Hello friends, welcome to CCR TV. Welcome to a session where we'll have a conversation with some of my friends, and you are welcome to eavesdrop. Yes? Let them eavesdrop? Okay.
Yes.
So this is these are my friends. This is the team which put up a one-act play called Gratefully Yours. And I want to say this, that I have watched several plays and even read plays, but those plays are meant for adults with sexual innuendos and maybe double meaning kind of phrases. It's very rare that one comes across plays that are suitable for the general population. And one such play was Gratefully Yours. Here we have the director, writer, but we'll come to her with more details. Now, I want to say that in my recent experience, this play, about a week ago, was it?
A little over a week.
Okay. And it was such a clean play, so well performed, based upon the life of the founders of the Daughters of the Heart of Mary. But maybe I'm going beyond what I have to say. So let's start. I would like this team to introduce themselves, because it's so much better when you speak for yourselves, right? So maybe we'll start with Annabelle.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Annabelle Dikuna, student of Nirmala Institute of Education, and I played the narrator in the play. Yes, I'm extremely pleased to be here.
Good. And what about you, Virginia?
Hi, my name is Virginia De Mello. I'm also a student of Nirmala Institute of Education, and I didn't play a main role in the play other than simply behind the scenes.
Oh, that's not true.
That's
Welcome. Understatement, absolutely. I'll get back to you.
Anyway, before Millie speaks, I want to say that quite recently I interviewed my professor, Mr. Alberto, Jill Alberto, for the Golden Couples session. And today it's my privilege to interview my student. And she's been a wonderful student. I can vouch for it because she is one faithful person who obeyed instructions. One of my instructions was that every student should shift on a day-to-day basis so that you get to know all the 100 in your class. Millie was the only one who did that, and hats off to her. But again, I'm going beyond what I have to say. So Millie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, sir. That was really gracious and kind, as usual. A gem. I am Sister Millie Pereira, belonging to the Society of the Daughters of the Heart of Mary, and also an assistant professor at Nirmala Institute of Education.
Good. Now we'll come to, I would like to call her the tragedy queen. I don't know whether you remember, but when I was younger, we had a Hindi film actress called Meena Kumari, and she was known as the tragedy queen. Now, would you like to tell about yourself? We'll come to the other parts later.
Yes, sir. Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Pereira, a student of Nirmala Institute of Education. So in this play, I have played the role, the main character, which was graciously offered to me by Virginia, Annabelle and Sister Millie. I'm glad they forced me to do this actually. Okay, so I've played the role of Sister Maria Adelaide, the SCC. Thank you.
Good. And here we have one of the few men in the play. I think there must have been 3 of you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Jude, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Sure, thank you so much. My name is Jude Fernandez. I am a B.Ed teacher trainee in English and History at Nirmala Institute of Education, and I play the role of Father Joseph Cloriver in this play, Gratefully Yours, and I am so grateful to be a part of this team.
Good, thank you. Now, you have heard two names. One, Adelaide de Cisse, and Father
Peter
Joseph or Peter Joseph Clorivier. Could Sister Millie tell us what is their connection with the Daughters of the Heart of Mary? Briefly tell us.
Yes, these are holy founders, and the small one-act play that we staged was based on their life. Well, our society was founded during the time of the French Revolution, when there was a ban on religious orders, and the musical we staged showcases their life, their struggles, to be true to their calling in spite of the turbulence around them.
Okay. So that was in short. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm sure there was a motivating factor that made you produce this play.
You'll find this a little amusing, but it was this dream, a strange dream, just featuring one fine day, and I see this strange man walking or striding across the labyrinth of my mind, and in my heart I know it is our founder, Peter Joseph de Cloriver. And at that point of time I did not know the date of our Diamond Jubilee celebration, because we had discussed previously that it's going to be the 11th of July, and when I went for my personal meeting with my superior said, Millie, there's a change in the day of the celebration, and she said that it's going to be on the 19th. I got this feeling of a bolt, and I understood what that dream meant. Then I just prayed. I told him, you guide me. What do you want me to say? All this while I was trying to put that off. I tried to almost ignore that thought, but it was a persistent thought coming back to me in my waking moment, in my sleeping. That kept me sleepless for more than 3 nights.
So you are the dream girl. Anyway, now you have told us about the motivating factor. I want to say that the play was well written, well directed, and you must have had some previous experience in maybe writing or directing plays. Could you share some of that?
Yes, sir. That's a gift coming from my father. I grew up in a home where stage was second home.
Is it?
But nevertheless, I had this experience as a catechist, directing small skits, plays, and that's how it all began.
I understand your dad was a theatrist.
Theatrist, a director, a singer, musician.
So
Yeah.
absolutely it has sunk into you, or it's in your genes
Just
maybe.
very versatile.
Versatile,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. Now, definitely you've had lectures and things. How did you manage to balance what you had to do?
We had a tough time. If not for Virginia and Annabelle, I wouldn't have dared it after the first setback. I lost my entire script. I wrote it on a day. It was a holiday due to red alert, and here at 2 a.m. I lose the entire script. I was anguished. I was perturbed, and just these faces who had already spoken about this earlier, because I was in charge of the cultural event and I could select my coordinators. I spoke to them about this certain inspiration, and these two girls said, we can see it, we can visualize. These were their words, and I simply did not have the heart to just let go because of this initial obstacle. And I sat on Sunday after Mass, and I went on a spree. I
Wonderful.
finished it at 2 a.m.
Wonderful.
The script was complete without a narration. I kept on telling them, "You'll get the narrative, you'll get the narrative a little later, a little later." They received it around roughly 3 days before the performance, and the introduction the day of the performance. We had just a week, sir, to do everything. And yes, they
Shall
were.
we say that the Holy Spirit was
Yes.
behind
Yes.
you,
Yes.
behind them,
Yes.
and I guess made such a wonderful impact on the audience.
It is the Lord. It is the Lord. Undoubtedly, it is the Lord.
So now, let's focus on the students.
Yes.
Okay. Here we have Rachel and Jude, the main characters, right? And of course, Annabelle and Virginia were there, as she says.
My pillars.
So now, what acting or singing or dancing training or experience have you had? Let's begin with Rachel.
Sure.
I said you were the tragedy queen.
My acting is just for the Christmas programs in our village. We have this program. So my dad, he is the main person right there. So he always pushed me there.
Okay.
So that's it, have been my acting experience. I haven't gone beyond that. So this thing was really huge for me, and I did not believe I could do it actually. But I had amazing people by my side. I had Sister Millie telling me, you can do it, you can do it. Virginia pushing me so much. So I did not actually believe that I could do this role, but after doing it, I feel pleased, I feel happy. Dancing, yes, I love it.
I remember
love
one
it.
scene
Yes.
where I think Virginia was your partner.
No, that's another.
Okay. But it was so well choreographed.
Yes.
Anyway, now Jude,
Yes.
I remember The Impossible Dream, and you have such a nice baritone. You sang it with finesse, you may say. So, what training or what have you had?
So could I reveal a secret actually? That was a lip sync. I was not actually singing the song. It was being sung by someone else.
Oh,
Sung by
People
Adriel.
were convinced like you
Yes.
that I was singing.
because you did a fantastic job of
Absolutely.
lip syncing.
Which is probably harder than singing it.
Yes, yes.
Yes, but I sing as well.
Okay.
So I cannot remember the time when I was not close to the stage. Since my childhood, I've been blessed to have parents and a brother who have always encouraged me to express myself.
Good.
So be it through poetry recitation, elocutions, plays in the school. I've acted in 2 theaters, just one show each as a brief entry.
Okay.
A Mando dance performance as well at Kala Academy. So I like to channel my creativity to do different performances on the stage, and I love it now.
So the stage is not unfamiliar.
No.
Okay. Thanks. What about you? Let's begin with Annabelle. I distinctly remember you had a black kind of suit.
Yes.
And you narrated so well.
Thank you so
What
much.
experience or training have you had?
I think I got most of my training and experience from school. I would say St. Mary's Convent High School. In fact, Virginia and I were together. We go way back.
That's in Mapsa?
Yes, MAPSA.
Okay.
And so St. Mary's, I would say I credit them for that, because they used to have all these competitions wherein we would put up plays. So I think I got most of my experience from there, and it really trained me, I feel,
Wonderful.
to be to do this further on.
You did a fab job.
Thank you so much.
What about Virginia?
So I think a similar experience like Annabelle, my actual career started in school, pre-primary, when I played Little Red Riding Hood. So yeah, we had like the whole wolf swallow me up and everything.
Yes.
But right from then, I think the stage has been a place where I feel home. I can just be myself there and experiment and just create something. And I love the audience and the way they enjoy performances, because you have the responsibility of taking them to a whole different world. you know. So after that in school, 10th standard, we had a play, a big play, and I played St. Francis Xavier. So it was very difficult to shift from being a girl to playing a guy's
I
character
know.
altogether.
Very challenging.
And I think also my parents were very supportive. Normally when I used to go for competitions, my mum was the one who used to write a speech, train me for several days, or it would be put me into a costume and send me on stage, and I'm very grateful for both of them.
So what did you do in this play, Gratefully Yours?
My role basically was to be a support to everyone and put everything together, like even to see that everyone was coming together, practices were held on time, and even the little details in costume, props that were on stage, and just to see the lighting, music, the background, all would come together. That's it.
You know something? Don't underestimate your contribution, because unless there is someone at the back there pushing, coordinating
Yes.
and helping out, things
Absolutely,
can go flat.
sir.
And I'm sure Millie will agree with that.
Absolutely. And she's a prop queen. She raided the convent. She looked in every nook and corner to find her little treasures.
Speaking of props, I found your costumes and things so fabulous. And I remember Rachel in that little bonnet.
Sister
So
Marie
all-
Christine made that. Sister Marie Christine made both the beret and
Okay.
her bonnet.
Yeah. So, and even those long dresses and shawls and things, I found that was so appropriate to that century when
Yes.
the French Revolution was going on, and you all had to be incognito as religious and things.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. Okay, coming back to you, you must have had to do lots of research.
So it's all etched across my heart. The life of my founders is embedded in me now. But with the narrative part, I did refer to just 2 booklets, not even books, because he was a prolific writer, Father Peter Joseph de Cloriver. But I had no time, absolutely. This was done in such a short period. We just took a decision. The moment my superior said the celebration is on the 19th of July, which is our Inspiration Day, I took a decision. I spoke to them and they said, we can see it happening, we can see it. And that's how I had to write. No time for research. All the script was just from my heart. And I asked the Lord to guide me. I asked Him who featured in my dream to guide me. And narrative, yes, which came little later. I took it from those booklets. That's it, sir.
So the
To be-
Holy Spirit was your inspiration. You
Yes.
didn't need any research, really speaking.
No, even while writing something of that age at that period, and guess what? My script was massive, and here comes Virginia and said, "Sister, do they have the time to by heart all this?" Chop, chop, chop. We went. And the script was half of
Yeah.
its original glory.
Good for you. And good for us, because it could have become
Yes,
boring.
yes. We did that because there was no
Okay.
time, and we had to do it in this short time span of a week, less than a week, if you
That's so
if you
nice.
say,
Yeah.
if you
Well, talk is not a-
The
And this
performance.
boy joined us for that particular role, because initially it was somebody else, because we wanted someone to sing live, and we gave Jude Adriel's role, the double role, and Adriel actually got scared that moment. He said, "Sister, I have to do the music and all that. It's a little too much now." And that's how we had just asked Jude. Jude said, "Yes, sister." And that's how.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I was initially supposed to do a double role of an evil spirit and a policeman.
Okay.
So to switch from that to a priest who is much more solemn and devout, that was quite a demand, but I was up for the challenge and I...
But you performed both?
No, I was
No.
supposed to do that,
Okay.
but then I was asked to do this and I was most happy to make the switch.
Just to share, my name is Nicholas, and in my class we had another Nicholas.
Okay.
So apparently the teacher said, "You are good, Nicholas." And that is the evil screen. So that has stuck with me, and I say, good, God forbid. Anyway, speaking of difficult moments, you've shared lots of the difficult moments. Were there difficult moments for both of you? As now, obviously, the cast was big, and we had to select only the two of you. But you can speak on behalf of them or your own behalf. Any difficult moments?
I think time, the shortage of time, in a way it's good because it puts pressure on you to get things done soon. But then of course there were so many of us, and I think Virginia has done a fantastic job in coordinating. Sometimes there were differences in opinion, then we had to stay back after classes for rehearsals and all of that. So we had some setbacks, but I think we overcame it very well.
Okay, we'll come back to those setbacks a little later.
Sure, sir.
Okay, now Millie, this play came from your heart, but I'm sure it has strengthened your commitment to the DHMs.
Yes, it has, in ways which I cannot comprehend either, nor will I be able to express, because there were moments when I was writing Rachel's lines, I would say, what must she be going through? I had to enter into her life so deeply. That was profound and poignant, and it made me feel that I know them so well.
Praise God.
I know them. They are part of my life, my journey of faith. And with regard to Rachel, I'd like to say, we had this practical difficulty with Rachel, her permanent smile. Sir, you're calling her, a tragedy queen. We made her, actually, I don't know whether she even felt a little upset with me. I said, Rachel, please. She would be smiling right throughout the rehearsals.
But then you kind of
Transformed totally.
yeah,
Absolutely.
metamorphosed, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I was one with you when you were dying on that armchair, and the way you
was
were
difficult.
struggling.
That was very, very good.
Anyway, so it's good to know that the Lord has touched all your lives. But I want to know, in particular, has this play strengthened your Catholic faith? You can begin.
Sure, sir. I would say that it has definitely helped me appreciate all the selfless service that missionaries have been doing all throughout the centuries, right? They have sacrificed their comforts, their strength, their talents to give to the needy and the underprivileged. And that is a message that we all need to take home from this play. And that really resonated with me when I was preparing for this role.
Has it also inspired a vocation in you?
No, I wouldn't go so far to say that, sir, but it has definitely inspired me as a teacher and as a humanitarian.
Wonderful. Don't mind that person.
No. We've all
Because
had
I'm going to ask it of all of them.
Except for me.
What about you?
Okay, so I had this small part in the play where there was a transformation, like from the ball, and then I was transformed and I realized my vocation. So that time it was that I had to cry. So initially I was like, how to cry? So then what struck me that time is I realized my own mistakes. I couldn't correlate with Sister Marie Adelaide Sissi, but I realized my mistakes. So when I cried that day on the stage, I have never felt so close to God. Even in confession, I might say, like I've cried it out and I repented for my sins, for whatever I have done that day. So that was really heart touching for me.
Okay. So, are you an aspirant to the DHMs? Okay. God has better plans for you. What about you, Virginia?
I think making of the play was a very tedious task, given the short duration of time and all the difficulties that we faced. And it was very important for me to just remember that in that moment, God was looking out for us. He was there amongst us, and I remember there used to be so many problems, and the only way that we could figure it out was when Annabelle, Sister Millie and I sat together with no one around, and we would just talk, and in the end we will just say, God, please make it happen, and it's all up to you. It will happen. It was just believe, and a lot of patience that everything would pass and the product would be fantastic.
And it did. It did. It was fantastic, really. Any vocation?
No, I wish, but no.
What about you, Annabelle?
Okay, so I feel like more than the play, it was actually working with Sister Millie that strengthened my faith in God even more, because as Virginia also said, we faced so many challenges while working on this play, and the only way to overcome that was to pray to God, and we did. And even while we were talking amongst each other, you could feel God's presence amongst us, and then we knew for a fact that no matter
You. Where 2 or 3 are gathered
yes
in the Lord's name, He is with you.
Yes.
Sorry, continue.
Yes, exactly, sir.
Yes.
So yeah, I actually felt God's presence in those moments, and I knew that no matter what happened, God would always be by our side, and in fact He was. So yes, it definitely strengthened my faith in God, for sure.
I'm happy to hear that. Any vocation?
No, not exactly, but I'll try to do what I can from.
Correct. Because you don't need to be a priest or
Yes,
a
exactly.
religious. You can still serve the Lord wherever He has placed you.
An example.
Yes, I was supposed to be a priest, and my father had great hopes in me, but I had no hopes. Anyway, now you are teachers, right? All of you.
Yes.
Or at least you will be starting in
Soon.
schools. You will also conduct plays and things when you are in school. Now you've had much experience, as you said. How will it help you, this play that you participated in? Has it honed your skills, be it dialogue, writing, directing, dancing, singing? Let's begin with you.
Okay, so I've had an experience in writing plays as well. My mother is also a teacher.
Is it?
Yes, in SFX Solem, and she also puts up all these programs. So I've learned a lot from her as well, even coming up with costumes and all that. So yes, I had some experience in that field, but I would say in terms of directing a play, I've learned so much this year from Virginia and Sister Millie. There's so much that goes into putting up a play, not just writing it, right? There's props, there's how you express yourselves, there's so much. And I feel like working with them has definitely, I've learned so much from just working with them on 2 plays, maybe with Virginia for Teachers' Day last year, and with Sister Millie now. Yes, I would say them, they really hone my
And
skills.
you spoke of props. I was amazed that with the bare minimum of props, you all did such a fantastic job, including shifting that armchair. And
So that was the most difficult decision, because we don't have these professional lights. Our stage is small, and it was really looking rather messy with everybody walking, not the characters, other people walking. I had to break her heart, maybe. We said minimize, and in fact we are gently pushing it in, pulling it out, the chair, the table, and the chair was that was done just a day before the performance. It's on 18th. We decided not to have, because it was many people entering and exiting the stage who are not the characters, and that is done with the lights around us. Doesn't look good. Had it to be in a place like Rabindra Bhavan, where you can have in 10 seconds you can make the switch over between scenes, that's fine. So with that, yeah.
I'm glad you said Rabindra Bhavan and not Kala Academy.
We had.
You know why I'm. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
It's okay. Also, we didn't have a designated stage crew because our cast was so huge as it is, and there wasn't that much space to move around on stage. So we with whatever we had, the few people who would be free between scenes, we managed with that.
That's wonderful.
Just pulling in a chair,
Yes.
bringing it out, trying not to be seen.
Yeah.
We just managed with that, and I think it came out pretty well.
Yes, even that bench, we last moment told them just come singing something, humming a tune and just enter and take it away as well, because that will hamper the next. Yeah, so that a little thought behind that, and the nuances were set right.
And what about the two of you? Has it honed your skills as a future teacher?
It has. Because, okay, I have performed, but then I have seen what happens behind the stage as well. So that has truly enlightened me. I at least know that this has to be done.
Correct.
So yes, I will put it into action soon.
Good.
To add to what Rachel has said, I think joy comes in not just the final performance, but everything that happens before it. Right from the first call, when Sister Millie told me, okay, we are going to stage a play and I would like you to be a part of it, to receiving the script, reading, having reading sessions, rehearsing, trying to get a feel of the character, spending some time in silence to contemplate, okay, what is this character feeling in this situation? What can I do to enhance it? To getting the costume, if I may add, Father Loyola Pereira was very generous to entrust me with his robe that was stitched in Rome, and it cost 27,000 rupees. And he had never met me before, and he entrusted me to wear that robe for just for this performance.
It suited you to a T.
And Sister Teresa Suarez got it for us.
Is it?
And there are people saying, oh, you should be a seminarian, you have the look and you have
I
the...
agree.
You're not the only one, sir. And and once everything comes together so well, and you just look back at the photos and say, wow, I can do this. And as a future teacher, as you were saying, we need to inspire youngsters to take on the roles, because having a script is one thing, but when you see it being enacted in front of you, that joy can't be put into words.
Correct. Yeah.
And I would also like to add something, sir, is I do have experience with the acting, and I was normally always on stage, but at Nirmala's I stepped down from stage. I'm not always on stage
Any
now.
regrets about that?
No, absolutely not, because I learned way more down the stage. And with Sister Millie, she's got this really, she's got a talent, I would say, for catching very fine, minute details on stage, you know, and everything had to be perfect, you know, even the little things, it would always catch attention. And even with costumes, Sister Millie could take some rubbish and put together the most wonderful costume. And you'd never expect it, because for you it's rubbish, but when Sister Millie has done her magic, it's wonderful.
And she would do it in seconds, just take a piece of cloth, put it here, and then it would turn into a fantastic costume.
That
It was
speaks
amazing.
volumes for your creativity. Okay. Now,
They're being very gracious, but the nuances.
just give them extra marks.
I don't have any, now I don't do the general paper with Rachel and Virginia. These two are with me for methods. But I would want to say, like, I did study a little bit about the nuances. Like sisters then would not express themselves outwardly. The gestures would be limited, so they would hold their hands. So that's what we
Kind of got into.
got
place.
into.
Downwards gaze.
Yes,
Do
yeah.
not look
I told
directly.
him, don't look at Rachel straight in the eye, and I told him, don't touch her,
Yes.
because you have to be true to your time.
Respectful.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah.
so this is just by the way.
Must have been
info.
difficult, no? Anyway, you spoke of a huge cast, and obviously frictions and challenges and rubbing shoulders. Was there any of that, or were you able to overcome that? Let's begin with the director.
Virginia can answer that better. I know one thing. There were differences. But I think she'll do a better job here.
So, I think when we started the play, the biggest task was to choose the perfect crew, the perfect cast, and everyone had to be able to do justice to the role. And Sister Millie had written such a beautiful script that I felt it was very important to choose a cast who would do justice to it. I really feel very grateful to everyone at Nirmala's, because whenever you offered them the role, they would be like, yes, we tried. Especially Rachel, you know, she had chunks of content to memorize, but she did a fabulous job.
And we gave her a day. You pray, you think it over, tell us the next day. Then I was a little timid in my approach. I said, Rachel, what have you decided? And she smiles broadly and she says, sister, I will do it. And I
Good
told
for
her.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the cast was it was just a single part of the entire performance you saw on that day, because behind the scenes we had a lot of people like Chinmay working on the sound, the backdrop, the music. We had dancers practicing on one side, we had the musicians, the singers who had to do so many songs all together. So just getting all of them to coordinate was a little bit of a task, but I think the efforts really paid off, and all of them did justice and did a fabulous job on that day.
Yes.
So,
A special mention is due to Chelsea also,
Yeah,
because
she-
her choreography is fantastic.
Jubi,
Jubi, yeah, Jubi. The choreographers.
I liked that dance because
da-
it reminded me of old world dances.
The dark dance or
Yes.
the ballroom?
The ballroom dance.
The dark dance was a concept that, how do I depict French Revolution? The term used to reveal to them what the scene is going to be like. It should be textured, background, nothing in between, really dark. It should look a little evil to depict the times. This is what I was, when our discussions were on. And even at that moment when nothing was clear, no choreographer decided, no cast and crew decided, they said, we can visualize, we can see it. That trust just kept me going, no matter what came our way, whether we had the time or we had to make do with whatever we have on our hands, we managed by God's grace.
Really, God's grace is the key term.
Yes, absolutely. So,
Now, today's gospel at Mass spoke of Martha complaining to the Lord, saying, the whole burden of the cooking, etc., on me, and my sister is at your feet doing nothing. Did that sort of thing happen with all of you? Anyone feeling left out or
no,
burdened?
in the core group we did not, we were like one heart and one soul. Really, so truly I have not had a single moment of friction or whatever it is, and I would always turn to them and they would in turn, you know, come back and discuss stuff with me. We
It's
had
so necessary to have friends behind you, no?
support.
Because to take it all on yourself alone would have been disaster.
And even while correcting them, or even sometimes you need to, but then their acceptance of whatever you say so graciously. Even while I told her, Rachel, don't smile, don't try to get into the character, she was very patient and she understood. Okay, sister. And Jude was naturally there. We had to straitjacket him at moments.
I would love to continue this conversation because it's enthused me. I was also a kind of stage performer, but in my youth, of late, nothing. I remember this little leaflet you all gave us at the Mass, and the title, a kind of quote, Hearts United in Service, celebrating the legacy of educating with love. I would love to leave this message with you. Ponder on this, because teaching today has become commercialized, if you will agree with me. Whereas we as teachers, as Catholic teachers, we need to take our teaching as a vocation to serve and to educate, because it's a God-given vocation to us. Okay, that's my message to you. Would you like to have a message for the world around?
I feel when you have your mind onto something, you should remember that if you put in the hard work, if you have faith in God, you can achieve it. if you need help, take the support. You don't have to have the weight of the world on your shoulders. But whatever you do, remember in that process of doing it, God is always going to be there for you and He's not going to leave you. So you got to always remember that and put your best foot forward. I'm telling you, anything is possible with God by your side.
Very
That's it.
Absolutely.
Let's see, Rachel.
Yes, okay. So I would like to say that even if you have a little bit trust in yourself and still have wonderful people around you who trust you so much, life becomes simpler. So you should be grateful for whoever is around you. It can be one person, two person, it doesn't matter. But if you have that one person and a little trust in yourself, I think you can achieve the unthinkable. Yes.
Good. Jude?
I would say never let your talent go waste. All of us are blessed with some skills, some interest, and we need to channel that into appropriate mediums and never let any opportunities go amiss. Surround yourself with positive company, take every opportunity that comes your way, and be grateful for everything that you have and keep pushing forward in times of adversity.
Wonderful. Let's get back to
Yes.
Annabelle.
So we often underestimate ourselves. We feel like we don't believe in ourselves. But I feel like you should always push yourself because we have all these talents, and with a little help from everyone around us, we can truly work on our talents and participate in as many things as you can, and you will definitely do a wonderful job.
Wonderful. And finally, let's come back to the director, writer, everything. Millie?
So I would just say, to be a teacher is to love without counting the cost, to do all those things, tiny little things with an extraordinary love. So, and the Lord will lead you. Just trust in Him without questioning, without a doubt. Just go ahead. So that's
And I
all.
think that's what Mother Mary did, right? When she was invited to become the mother of the Lord, she said, okay, thy will be done. She had a question, but
Yes.
ultimately, as she did also when she met her cousin Elizabeth, saying, He has done marvelous things for me. And the Lord has done marvelous things for all of you and for us who are witnessing the play. Okay? And I'm hoping that we'll be able to put up the play also on CCR TV.
Yes.
But for now, with Mother Mary, let's sing that little verse. Mozo othmo sorvesporak wakanta, moja tarka deva sove murgotta.
Mozo otmo sorvesporak vakanta, moja tarka deva sove murgota. Mozo otmo sorvesporak vakanta, moja tarka deva sove murgota.
Amen. And friends, I have enjoyed this interview and I'm hoping you all will. And give us your comments whenever you can. But to this team, I am gratefully yours.
We are gratefully yours as well, says
Okay?
Professor
So,
Nicholas.
yeah. So keep up the good work and bring up more plays, Millie. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And
Amen to
yeah,
that.
and that's Millie, of course, but to each of you, I wish you all the best in your exams and your careers ahead. May God bless and use you productively. Okay?
Thank
God
you,
bless.
sir. Thank you, CCR TV.
Yes.
God bless.